Right then, welcome back to Football Yannick. How's it going, friends? Today we're speaking about the Champions League. Who's going to win next season's Champions League? A big question. Is it going to be current holders Paris Saint-Germain? Or is it going to be the newly assembled frightening super team, Liverpool, the Super Scousers? Could it be the new young blue boy Chelsea children of Todd Boehly and Clear Lake Capital? Peut-être? Maybe? Could be, it could be, yeah, we're gonna get into it. I haven't referenced a supercomputer here. I've very much just asked ChatGPT, see like what it's saying. We're gonna get into it. Also, guys, thanks for joining me. We're nearly, we're basically at 19.1 thousand subscribers, or nearabouts. Amazing support of the channel lately here. So I'd really love to get to 20k this summer. That's less than 1,000. It's like 900 and something. So thank you to all the new subscribers. You're all welcome. And with that being said, let's get into it. Right. So it's the big one here, Champions League. Teams like Arsenal, and until recently, Man City would have, like, you know, done anything. You just need that European Cup. Until you got one, you just ain't got one, you know, as it says. Really, to be honest, out of all the superpowers at the moment, is Arsenal. Arsenal are like the team left in terms of playing at the top level. You'd have to say Atletico Madrid, they've reached the final. Yeah, generally. Anyway, look, this is what my little AI friend says. As of the time of late July, sort of as we're recording now, 29 of the 36 teams have been confirmed. And they include, of course, good teams of good coefficient, domestic champions, Europa League winners, and high performers, yada, yada, yada. So the current Champions League title holders are Paris Saint-Germain, who have qualified by winning the Champions League. Not that they needed it for qualifications. But yeah. That's how they did it. Europa League winners, of course, also qualified Tottenham Hotspur. I don't want to make you have to remember that final against Manchester United, because my word, that was a bad game of football. The Premier League automatic qualifications go as follows. Liverpool, of course, finished first. Then it was Arsenal, City, Chelsea in the top four, and then, of course, Newcastle United got that fifth place qualification, kind of falling in backwards on the final day. And Spurs have got there, obviously, the aforementioned Europa League route. La Liga, we got Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Bilbao, Athletic Club, and Villarreal are in there as well. So, yeah, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 La Liga teams in there. We got 4 Serie A Italian teams. Napoli, of course, the Scudetto winners. Inter Milan, lost the last final 5-0. Atalanta and Juve. Bundesliga, we have, of course, Harry Kane and Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich. Lest we forget, there's another beautiful but bald man over at Bayer Leverkusen now, called Ten Hag, who's losing all his best players. Frankfurt are in there, Borussia Dortmund are in there as well. So yeah, that is 4 Bundesliga teams. 3 French teams, of course, the aforementioned PSG, Marseille, and Monaco. And then you got the likes of PSV and Ajax from Netherlands, Sporting from Portugal, Olympiacos from Greece, Slavia Prague, Galatasaray, and Union Saint-Gilloise, Belgium team. 7 more are still going to be to qualify from different qualifying rounds that have already started. Right, so early betting favourites, just for reference, this is what the people are thinking, this is where the money is going, as it were. And to be honest, like, as a Chelsea fan, I mean, am I hurt? I don't know if I'm hurt. Look, PSG are favourites, fine. They look like they won the quadruple, they won 5-0, they literally won 5-0 in the final against Inter, like, no matter what happened against Chelsea in that Club World Cup final, they were always going to be favourites. Now, I understand the second favourite being Liverpool, yeah? So the second favourite by a little distance is Liverpool, but what I don't understand is how they are level with Real Madrid. Or I do, actually, because Liverpool, it's like theory of how good the team is, yeah? They're a super team, they bought loads of players, they might still even buy Isaac. They are really good, they're Premier League winners, yada, yada, yada. I speak about Liverpool a lot here being a football channel. But Real Madrid, They didn't win anything, did they, of note last season? And they had real frustrating moments, and they got embarrassed by Arsenal in the Champions League, which is not a good look for anyone, really. But they are, it's their competition in many ways, isn't it? They win it all the time. Often they just do it through vibes and self-belief. They're just manifestors of winning Champions Leagues, aren't they? So maybe that's why they're joint second favourites to Liverpool. But Liverpool themselves have got 6 of the ruddy blighters. So just after is Barcelona. So they are, I suppose, third favourite if you're going to say Real Madrid and Liverpool are joint second. That feels a bit cheating slightly. But I kind of get Barcelona as well because, you know, Yamal's a year older. He's 18 now. He looks amazing. Lewandowski's going to be used somewhat. It depends how much they rely on the likes of Rashford and how good he is. Because they can't, you know... Liverpool might sign Isak, but the one team, if they had money, that would benefit the most is Barcelona. He just seems perfect for them in terms of what they have and what they need. Yeah, really interesting. Obviously, an amazing midfield, but you can get at this Barcelona side. They, of course, won the league last campaign in Spain. And then, joint, I suppose, third, if you're going to say joint second, third. So, joint fourth is Arsenal and Man City. And this is what ChatGPT is telling me. Arsenal... Well, I mean, obviously now they've signed Victor Gyökeres. And look, as much as... I don't think of Arsenal and go, oh, scary. I think of them like really well coached and never going to be embarrassed, you know. Their embarrassment is finishing second 3 years in a row, which is actually, you know, statistically a great achievement. But I don't think of them and I think, yeah, frightening. And I actually don't look at them at all and think they're a good cup team at all. And that's because the last half a decade, they've not got past the semi-final, you know, and yeah, and they just don't seem to do it in the cups. This, of course, being the biggest cup of them all. So, I think Man City should be a bigger favourite than Arsenal, personally. I know they've signed Victor Gyökeres, but and he's scored, and we've seen him score in the Champions League, and that's different to the Premier League. People say, oh, Victor Gyökeres, he might not get space in the Premier League, yada, 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 fine. Champions League, we've seen him score in the Champions League. Of course, teams will play differently against Arsenal if Arsenal are squeezing up against opposition. I've been saying on this channel, I think Gyökeres is kind of too good to sort of flop. I'll say too good to flop. He might not necessarily be this amazing solution, but I think he will be this really useful addition, like minimum. That's the floor, I think, for him at Arsenal. Yeah, I suppose Arsenal don't, and they did have that moment against Real Madrid. But what's not being mentioned in these favourites here is Bayern Munich, which of course are a big team, big players. Perhaps they wanted to sign Florian Wirtz. Of course, Musiala is going to be out for the first half of the season with that gnarly injury. That's the sort of first big one off the sort of other contenders. And then Chelsea. After Chelsea, it's Newcastle, Inter. Yeah, because Inter got to the final, but they're not being seen as like this superpower as they were. Probably because the manager's gone to Al Hilal now. Atletico Madrid, Napoli, Leverkusen. Yeah. I think, of course, Bayern and Chelsea are just put outside these favourites. I don't want to like go too blue tinted goggles here, lenses. And I realise while this channel is still not as big as I'd hope for it to be one day, there's probably a lot of Chelsea fans that are watching this to hear what I'm talking about, other Chelsea stuff. So they'll be like, yeah, Chelsea can win it, we can win it. But like, so there is always going to be a Chelsea-centric opinion of what I speak about on here. But I think Chelsea is out the same way I said Arsenal, an amazing, solid team that don't get embarrassed, and they will always do well in the league. I think Chelsea have sort of always been the opposite to that. I mean, we've won like more Premier League titles than them, but Chelsea have in recent years been a great cup team, even getting to like multiple finals and losing them, but getting to finals. Of course, Maresca getting to 2 finals and winning them, both of them being international, European and international, of course, with the Club World Cup and the Conference League. And you could be like, oh yeah, you know, that was at least the Conference League, it's a lower level. Totally. We faced fairly decent opposition in the final, and you can lose to anyone in the final if they're fairly decent opposition. you know, like Man City against Crystal Palace in the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So that's, I think that was a respectable, you know, thing to win in the end. And I just think this young Chelsea team are set up to do really well in the Cups. They've got this real great belief now. They've lifted silverware together in quick succession over the summer. And I think after beating PSG, the European champions, so convincingly, I mean, Chelsea fans won't let other people forget that. It wasn't just like some like pre-season tournament where we beat like Rapid Vienna in a fight. You know, it was PSG that desperately wanted to win it. You know, they'd won the quadruple. They were fighting. The manager was fighting. The players were fighting with Chelsea players. They wanted to win it. You know, they desperately wanted to win it. They cared, as it were. And it was such a convincing dismantling by Chelsea that has to make them think, yeah, we can win the Champions League. Of course we can win the Champions League. That's what they'll be thinking. And, you know, rightly so. So I was very interested to see how, even now, yeah, under Arsenal, I wonder if I'm being biased, thinking Chelsea have got a better chance of winning the Champions League than Arsenal. I think Arsenal are a much more developed team, and they showed that in the Premier League points total, and we'll have to see. Obviously, Chelsea got a lot to prove this upcoming campaign. ChatGPT reckons the round of 16 will likely feature PSG, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, you know, and quarterfinals, it reckons PSG against Real Barca, Liverpool versus Man City, or Atalanta and Napoli. So the most plausible final projection is PSG in the final versus Liverpool or Real Madrid. That's why it's gone with the odds. Yeah, PSG versus Liverpool or Real Madrid. So that would be kind of boring now. We've all liked the PSG team, the players. Of course, the project is a financially cynical, sports-washing, Qatari, geopolitical, yada, yada, yada. But they've gone from like these like Galactico egos to this really likable young team. And so everyone got behind them winning the quadruple, and, you know, Ousmane Dembele should win the Ballon d'Or. Great. Let's draw a line under that. Go away now. You've had your fun. Go do something else. Go do something else now. And let someone else win it. But if it's going to be Liverpool, Real Madrid, they like the, you know, won the two out of Ajax and Milan have won a load. I can't remember who's won the most behind Real Madrid. Is it Milan? I think it might be. And then it's considering upset winners, Barcelona. Upset finals. Barcelona versus Bayern. I mean, I wouldn't feel that much of an upset final. Arsenal versus PSG, my word. And City versus Barcelona. There would all be, you know, really good ties, to be honest. It says PSG are the standout pre-tournament favourites. And this is, of course, with them being the current holders and having this great continuity under current manager Luis Enrique. I have to agree, man. They do look just like I you know, it's fine to wax lyrical about them because people was obviously they got once more time they got embarrassed by Chelsea in the final, but leading up to that embarrassment, people were talking about how transformational they were looking, how this was like the most influential team since Guardiola's Barcelona, you know, because of the way they move together, they press together, they counter-press together, they defend together. They've gone from, like I said, these big egos that want to do like rainbow flicks to the team that out-sprints everyone, that they still do the roulettes, the Cruyff turns, all the tricks, but they outrun, they outwork everyone, and they outskill everyone, they outscore everyone, and they keep the most clean sheets. They're just this insane team that's incredible to watch. More exciting to watch than maybe like Guardiola's Man City when he just literally turned them into a game-suffocating machine. But that had gone, this was exciting. This was like, it's what a treat to watch this like PSG team, and it was refreshing. So it is right to like wax lyrical about them. But I wanted to reference this and start up the conversation with you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you think could surprise people in the Champions League? Who do you think can win it? And yeah, thank you for joining me. Of course, I would urge you. I'm on 19,078 subscribers, so I'm 22 off 19.1. Once we get to 20,000, I'll stop trying to hammer it home so much, but I'd love to get to 20,000. All right, gang. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.